On November 22nd, 2025, South Africa made a move so bold that world leaders were left speechless. A move so unexpected, it shattered a tradition older than some nations sitting at the table. What South Africa did has never happened in G20 history. For decades, one rule was unbreakable. The outgoing G20 host must fly to the incoming host nation for the leadership handover, a ritual followed without a single exception. But this year, South Africa refused. They declined to travel to the United States, breaking protocol, defying expectations, and sending a shockwave through global diplomacy. Their message was simple. If you want the G20 presidency, respect us. We will not fly across the world to follow a tradition that only benefits you. It wasn't rude. It was a statement of dignity. A message that Africa is not a continent to be ordered around. Across the continent, millions celebrated. They said this is the Africa they want to see, confident, equal, and unafraid. But the real shock came next. The United States refused to attend the summit. For years, every U.S. administration attended G20 summits. But this time, America sent no president, no vice president, not even a high-ranking official. Many wondered why. Some claimed it was politics. Others believed the U.S. didn't want to attend because the summit was in Africa. To Africans, the message felt disrespectful. If African leaders can travel to America when invited, why couldn't America come to Africa? But South Africa's reaction impressed the world. They simply said, if you do not come, that is your choice. We will not beg for your presence. It was maturity. It was leadership. It was African confidence in action. Then, Donald Trump entered the conversation and escalated everything. Trump criticized South Africa publicly, saying the country wasn't qualified to lead the G20. Many saw this as an insult to the entire continent. Africans remembered his past comments about Africa, comments that caused outrage. So when he questioned South Africa's ability again, it reopened old wounds. But South Africa did not react emotionally. They stood firm and calm. We earned this role. We deserve this role. We will not accept disrespect from anyone. Across Africa, people praised this response. It showed that Africa is no longer afraid to push back, even against superpowers. But this story is not just about diplomacy, it's about sovereignty. For decades, African nations were pressured into following policies created elsewhere. Foreign powers influenced decisions, shaped agreements, and often expected compliance. But today, things are changing. Africa is rising. Africa is asserting itself. South Africa's stand showed the world that the continent wants equal partnerships, not dominance, not instructions. Africa is rich in resources, culture, and innovation. It supplies the world with minerals, energy, and talent. And now, it demands respect. This awakening is not happening in isolation. Africa's rise is visible everywhere. Nations like Ethiopia, Kenya, Ghana, and Morocco are building industries, advancing technology, and growing fast. Nigeria, Angola, and Mozambique are expanding their energy sectors. BRICS expansion is giving Africa better trade deals, more investment, and more political power. With one of the world's youngest populations, African youth are transforming the continent. They are learning digital skills, creating companies, and shaping Africa's global identity. Politically, Africa is becoming more independent. Leaders are rejecting foreign pressure and choosing partners that respect African interests. The world is watching because Africa is no longer weak or silent. It is becoming a major global player. But there is one challenge that Africa must still overcome: disunity. Africa has 54 countries, each with its own systems. Foreign powers have long used this division to their advantage. When one African country refuses something, others are pressured to offer it. This weakens the continent's bargaining power. Unity is the key to change. South Africa's bold stand reminded Africans that unity makes them unstoppable. Across the continent, the people reacted with excitement and pride. Social media from Nigeria to Egypt, from Kenya to Ghana, exploded. People said, Africa will no longer kneel. This is the beginning of a new era. For decades, Africans felt their leaders traveled abroad seeking approval. But now, South Africa refused to chase the U.S. It was a turning point that gave millions hope. People realized Africa has the resources, talent, and strength to control its own destiny. But another issue lies deeper. Foreign military presence in Africa. The U.S. has military bases in countries like Niger, Djibouti, Kenya, and Botswana. These bases give strategic control, influence, and long-term leverage. Many Africans now question, how can Africa be truly sovereign if foreign nations control key security points? South Africa's bold stand is encouraging Africans to rethink dependence, to move towards self-reliance, and to build their own security and future. And now, the world must face a new reality. Africa is changing forever. This is more than a diplomatic disagreement. It is a symbol of Africa's rebirth. For too long, the continent was viewed as weak and dependent. But not anymore. African countries are becoming stronger, more confident, and more united. Young Africans want dignity, opportunity, and true independence. Countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, and South Africa are showing the world that Africa will no longer kneel. Africa is awake, Africa is rising, and soon the world will have no choice but to treat Africa as an equal global power. This moment will be remembered as the turning point, because the sleeping giant has awakened, and nothing will ever be the same again. If you want more stories that reveal the truth and expose global power plays, then make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next chapter in Africa's rise.